theoretically speaking, if she hits every single one of these steps, she has now mastered her back walkover. I have videos of Jaden back in the day trying to do just a back bend, then she would bump her head and just start wailing, just crying, like cause she was afraid of it, and then she would hit her head and hurt herself. And to see her go from that to doing flawless back walkovers that I can't even find anything wrong with warms my heart as a father. High five. Good job, man. Give me a big hug. I'm so proud of you. What's up, everyone? My name is Roland.
My name is Jaden.
And today we're gonna teach you how to do a back walkover, okay? So keep in mind that before you learn a back walkover, you need a back bend kickover, and you need to be pretty flexible. And we're not just talking back flexibility, we're talking shoulder flexibility as well, because one of the first steps, really the first step to a back walkover, is to open up those shoulders and go back, okay? So you can be as flexible as you want in your lower back, but you gotta make sure that you have that shoulder flexibility, or that lower back flexibility does not matter. Also, you need to be flexible, point your toe, you need to be flexible enough to lock out your leg. And on top of flexibility, you need to be strong enough to hold your leg here. If you already have all of the prerequisites for a back walkover, let's just go ahead and move on to it. So Jaden, you think you can show me a perfect back walkover?
Yeah.
Let me see. I trust Jaden. She's been doing this for a while. Okay, she knows what I'm gonna be looking for, but after she's done, I will let you know exactly what I was looking for, and we'll see if she hit all those marks. That was beautiful, Jaden. So y'all, come here, mama. That, in my eyes, was pretty much a flawless back walkover. If that was the worst back walkover you ever did, beautiful, okay? Y'all, I'm gonna let you in on something, because I always tell Jaden, she messes up whenever she shows us that she can do it perfectly, because then we expect it every single time. And it's hard being great, it's hard focusing on every single 10, 20 steps, every single time you go. But as you get used to it, it becomes second nature, and then one day they're just gonna all be perfect because your body just knows what to do. So until that point, keep fighting. You gotta keep trying hard. You gotta keep thinking about every single step, but one day you won't have to, okay? So go ahead and show them a bad back walkover. And I wanna point something out right here. Land it, but do a bad back walkover, like it was your first time ever. So y'all, if that was her first back walkover she ever landed, amazing job, Jaden. That, you just got over, you just made it over, you just got a back walkover. Now it's time to clean it up. Keep that in mind. You don't just start off with a perfect back walkover, but I'm gonna show you how to get there, okay? So like I said, you gotta be flexible and you gotta be strong. So once I let go, her legs should stay there. Look at that. She's ready to move on. You ready to move on?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and go down to hands on the ground and freeze. So open up those shoulders, now freeze. Show me that perfect position that I'm looking for. So y'all, this is the hardest part, okay? Make sure that foot doesn't turn, and I want you to get on this toe right here. Get on that tippy toe, balls of your feet. Push back, get that leg up high. Good, this is what I'm looking for. So whenever I let go, you should stay there. This takes a lot of strength, but this is the position you need to master if you wanna move on. Go ahead and kick over, push off that toe. Master your back walkover, okay? So, did you feel it in your hip flexor at all? You feel that? So y'all, nobody really talks about the fact that you need really strong hips, okay? And we have a video for that as well if you wanna do some drills with us. But let's move on, okay? Because we're doing back walkovers today. So show me that, point that toe out in front. Boom, ooh, look at you, nice lift, everything. So let's go ahead and get back to that position, okay? Leg up, straight. Leg up, let's go. Reach back, keep your hips in line. Now, freeze. I want you to notice one thing. See her hips, like how this leg? Her hips are not over her heel, okay? So technically, no, leave your head back. I'm sorry, mom, I'll help you out. So this is where you wanna be. The second your hips go past there, you're going backwards, okay? You wanna keep your hips above your heel. You wanna keep a straight line from your heel up to your hips at all times until you're ready to make it happen at the end, okay? That's where I see people go wrong the most. They just try to go for it, but they're not thinking about that line. They're not thinking about how if your hips are over your toes, no, keep your feet together. If your hips are over your toes, you're gonna go forwards. Come here.
Yeah.
If your hips are behind you, you're gonna go backwards, okay? But if your hips are under you, you're not going anywhere, okay? So here, arms up, tight lift, point that toe out in front. Boom, let's go back and let's keep your hips in line. So right here, theoretically, if I let go, she could still stand up, okay? But she is kind of top heavy, so that top heaviness is gonna shift her weight backwards, okay? But watch where she's reaching. If she's reaching here, freeze. Hold your leg up. Go ahead and do a kick over from there, but don't move your feet or your hands, go. That's not happening. So I'm gonna pause this video. Why do you think that didn't happen? Why do you think Jaden couldn't kick over right there? Pretty simple, okay? So think about shoulder flexibility. Okay, that's the thing that I was talking about earlier. You need to have flexible shoulders. So let's go ahead and show me your lift again. Lift again, point your toe out in front. freeze. Keep those hips in line with your heel. Now I want to see you, the goal is to pull those arms through, pull those hands through as close to that heel as possible. But if you get too close, this knee will bend and then you're gonna start to undercut. Then you're just gonna fall to your back, okay? So keep that in mind. There is a point of no return. Relatively speaking, get those hands under you as much as possible. So go ahead and show me hands on as much as possible. Go, get those hands through. Reach, 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 more. So that's about your tipping point. And then once you shift that weight back, heels go over, they go behind, you're now going over, okay? So, freeze. Oh, go ahead and get right there, pull through it. Let me see you try to kick over from here. So your hands are under. Now, oh, that is beautiful, Jaden. I love that. High five. Yo, and I hate to be so technical and break this down even more, but I just saw one more thing that is very important, because people, you know, you can do drills all day, but until somebody just really explains it and breaks down the mechanics, you won't fully understand why things work, how things are synergistic, the synergy behind things, okay? So I don't want to overcomplicate this, but I want you to be cautious of one more thing before we really get into this back walkover. Good lift. Boom, leg, boom, leg up. Freeze. So check this out, y'all. Hips are over her heels, okay? Reach back as far as you can. Now freeze. Now you're just at that point where you're shifting your weight back. Now kick over and freeze in handstand. So hips are now over her hands, okay? Lock out, lock out, lock out. So theoretically, if I let go, she's not gonna move, okay? And her legs weigh the same, so she should be able to hold this herself, right? Anyway, I'm just kidding, Jan. So you wanna go from hips over your heels to shifting your weight back and then getting your hips in line with your hands. And then once your hip tips over, or once your leg tips over, boom, you can land, okay? So be cautious of those things. That's all gonna come down to your flexibility and your strength. High five, Dan, great job. So now that we've broken it down pretty much to a science, watch the relationship between her hips and her heels and her hips and her hands, okay? So you do a back walkover, but stop in that handstand, okay, in a big split. Boom, see how hard that leg came through? Come here. That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad at all, okay? Because technically she was doing a back walkover, that's what you want. But I wanted her to control her body and stop in that handstand, okay? This is way more advanced, but I know Jaden can do it. And I want her to focus on that control, because you don't want to miss that step. If you don't focus on that middle step, and if you're just rushing to get it done, you're gonna miss a lot of things in between, okay? So let's go ahead and break down everything we know so far about a back walkover. You start off with a nice clean lift, of course. Get that leg out in front, toe point, leg straight. Go to get that leg up, hips over the heels. Go ahead and do a back walkover and stop in a handstand. And freeze right there. So see how this leg, she got her hips over, and if I didn't stop her, she would have kept going. That's what you're looking for. But do not ever neglect this position. This is how you can tell if the person knows what they're doing or not. Beautiful job holding that, Jaden, by the way. And it all boils down to discipline. You know that that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for straight legs. I'm looking for pointed toes, but I'm looking for what body position, what shape you're in. Tumbling's all about shapes, by the way, but I'm looking at your shape while you're in that handstand, because that's gonna tell me, it's gonna show me how disciplined you are, okay? So you go ahead and show me this back walkover. Clean, go. Cleanest one you can do. I'm looking for shapes. So freeze. I'm so glad you did that, Jaden, relax. So why did Jaden not make that back walkover over? Why did Jaden not get it fully over? She was focusing on that split, but it all comes down to body control. But in that situation, in my eyes, Jaden was trying to play it too safe right there, okay? So great job. You're trying to teeter, but you gotta find that balance point, okay? So you remember earlier you were doing too much. Right there, you weren't doing enough. Neither one of those are bad. You're just practicing. Find that balance point. So do the same thing you just did. Give me a little bit more.
I was holding it, then I could come back down.
Yeah, it's okay, Mom. Let's get it. Shapes. Let me see that shape. Freeze, boom, bam. All right, y'all. It's just, yo, I'm telling you right now, that is so gorgeous. I have videos of, come here, Mama. I have videos of Jaden back in the day trying to do just a back bend. Then she would bump her head and just start wailing, just crying, like because she was afraid of it. And then she would hit her head and hurt herself. And to see her go from that to doing flawless back walkovers that I can't even find anything wrong with warms my heart as a father. High five. Good job, Mom. Give me a big hug. I'm so proud of you. So y'all, that is a back walkover. So Jaden, do you have any tips for a back walkover?
That do not bend your hands when you do this, but don't bend your legs when you do the back in the splits.
Why not? Why don't you bend your legs?
Because then it will be sloppy.
Ooh, speaking of which, let's break down what you just said. So, you said do not bend your leg, right?
Yeah.
So let's do a test. Y'all, let's go ahead and talk about something real quick. Go ahead and good lift. Point that toe in front, get that leg up. Go ahead and do a back, or bend this leg. Now do a back walkover without locking out your legs. You locked out your right leg. The fact that you got over with that is crazy. But come here.
I thought you mean this leg.
No, don't lock out either leg. So get set, lift. Like, it's hard for her to do it wrong because like her brain is like telling her don't do that. So here, bend your leg. Quit making that. Hey, I want to see ugly. No, bend this leg, Jaden. Now let's go back walkover. Go. You cannot lock out your legs. Did you lock out your leg? Wait a minute, y'all. She's defying. Wait a minute. Let's break this down. You're defying physics. Let me see. Back walkover without locking out your legs. Go. So y'all, you know what it is? I want to tell y'all something. Come here. If I were to rewind that video, you could see how Jaden is pushing off. She doesn't extend fully through, but she's pushing off with force.
Yeah.
On her leg, okay? This toe right here, this leg is doing so much work. That's why if you're strong enough and you're flexible enough, you can do whatever you want, okay? That's why it all boils down to, of course, technique, but flexibility and strength. She has really strong legs, so she was able to muscle it over. But here, do that one more time. I want you to do another bad one. I want you to watch her hips though, okay? Watch where her hips are, go. So they're still over her heel. All right, Jane, don't do that. You just did back handspring, go again. So she's still starting hips over her heels, but how does she make it over? Freeze. So did you see how much she's pulling through with her arms? So theoretically, and arms up, do a long back bend or bridge, freeze. If you're back here, your hips have further to travel and it's just not physically possible to kick over from here, okay? But if you, boom, decrease the distance between your hips and your hands, it gets a little bit easier, but freeze. I want you to get them back some more. Show me all the arms, like crawl those hands, touch my hand. Okay, you can do that too. Look how flexible Jaden is. That is crazy, Jaden. I did not, all right, so look at the relationship. She just shortened the entire gap, okay? So now kick over, go. I don't know, y'all, that is unreal. I did not know you were that flexible. First of all, that's crazy, mama. So you gotta understand, everyone, you gotta have the flexibility. You gotta have the strength. But once you have that, you have no excuse for not making it over. It all comes down to discipline. Are you gonna hit all of your positions? All right, everyone, let's go ahead and break down every single position, every single shape you need to hit in order to successfully complete a back walkover. Shape number one, step number one, position number one is a lift. Position number two, get that leg out in front of you. Go ahead and lock out that leg. Position number three, lift that leg up. Make sure your hips are over your heels, leg is straight. Position number four, get those hands through, pull through as much as you can. Decrease the distance between your hips and your hands as much as possible. Step number five, extend through, hit that handstand, do a little check right here. Make sure your hips are over your hands. Step number six, freeze, pull that foot through. We didn't talk about this, but always pull that foot under you, because if your foot is under you and your hips are over your heel, you can stand up and land, okay? So good job, Jane. Let's break that down fast, let's go. So theoretically speaking, if she hits every single one of these steps, she has now mastered her back walkover, okay? So I want you to do this along with her, and I want you to take a video. I want you to pause it and see if you hit all of your steps and see what you can work on. Now that we've broken down the mechanics of a back walkover, you should know every reason that you're not landing if you're not, okay? We're gonna see if Jaden can hit all of her steps. Ready? And step one, step two, step three, step four, step five, step six, and land. Nice job, mama. All right, y'all. She got a check mark for each step. So Jaden, theoretically, should be able to do a back walkover. Let me see if you can do a back walkover. Because if you break it down, that was just a back bend kick over with staggered legs, okay? Do a real back walkover all the way through, fluid. Nice job, Jaden. Hey, you did so good. Give me my big hug, mama. Mwah. Thank you so much for checking out this back walkover video. Very, very, very in-depth, but I will attach a set of drills you can do, a set of stretches to do as well if you want to master this on your own. Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.